Thank you very much for having me here, and my name is Giuseppe Pisano. I'm currently a PhD candidate in artistic research at the Norwegian Academy of Music in Oslo. I'm also one of the members of the Trio Totale. We presented a piece yesterday night, and I am together with Davide Ercolano, the creator of VOLTA, which is a DIY portable loudspeaker system for immersive audio. I'm here today mainly to bring a report, which is a report of a process that I believe can be interesting for artists and makers who either work outside institutions or belong to institutions with limited financial possibilities. While I'm aware that I'm going to talk about something that might not provide perspectives on extremely innovative or cutting-edge technological advancements, I've seen in the past that the field of DIY approaches to music technology is intersecting that of spatial audio with renewed vigor in the past years, and I believe that bringing more perspectives to the table can be very important for showcasing the full range of diversity of approaches and inspiring people with different skill sets and to access this kind of solution and to create new ones. Here I have just chosen 3 examples that have been informative for my own research. We have a 3D printed spherical loudspeaker developed by Valerie Andre at IM, and the Octosonics project, which will come up many times during this presentation. And there is also a geodesic design that is used by Hans-Günther Lock in Tallinn. Well, I live in Oslo, and I've been living there for a long time, and I've studied there, my second master with Natasha Barrett at the time, and I'm privileged. I have access to a studio like Notum 24.1, the one with the blue walls, and we also have a 24.1 portable loudspeaker system, which is made entirely with Genelex. Here I'm rigging it up with Ernst van der Loo for a concert. At the same time, I come from Naples in southern Italy, and this is the city where I started my studies, and I still have most of my network and active collaborations. And I believe that for understanding the necessity for a project like this, I need to give a brief account of what is the Neapolitan context for electroacoustic music. Napoli has a very vibrant scene, composers and performers of acousmatic and electroacoustic music, which is especially growing in the past 5 or 6 years, and I've seen numerous composers from my hometown present at relevant festivals, conferences, and receive prizes. However, when I attend events dedicated to spatial audio, I often notice that their presence is limited. And I believe this is because there wasn't, and currently still isn't, a dedicated facility for spatial audio in my hometown. So what spaces are available for young composers and artists in Napoli, and what supports their research? One is, of course, the Conservatoire, which represents a hub. People connect. However, as my Italian colleagues may confirm, and there are many of them here now, conservatories in Italy vary widely in terms of what level of priority they give to electroacoustic music and to music technologies in general, and they don't always have the resources to finance or upgrade facilities, and especially the facilities for spatial audio, they're expensive. Other places for connecting are luckily the network of commons, or what we call beni comuni, which is a network of spaces and buildings, first occupied, then through legal actions, they've been turned into community-run spaces that over the past 10 years have supported non-commercial cultural activities. Here we see in the pictures, it's not clearly visible, I'm sorry, but this is the theater of one of those spaces called the Ex-Asilo Filangieri, which was entirely built by the community, including myself, Paolo, and Andrea, who are here. As said, these contexts are extremely precious for establishing networks and collaborations and projects, such as the collective Napoli Totale Elettronica, and of which we are part of, and the Electroacoustic Improvisation Orchestra, OEVAS. These are all direct results of the exchanges that are facilitated by these hubs. Still, there is a lack of production tools and research facilities dedicated to electronic music, which in my opinion limits the ability to explore new technologies in a more systematic and continuous way. This is of course an assumption, but it's backed by experience. Through my constant use of Notam in Oslo and my prolonged stay at EMS and other similar studios around Europe, I can see that the presence of such studios in a city contribute critically to the creation of a local scene, and sometimes also inform the aesthetics of a specific community, and such community would just not exist otherwise. So I had an ambition to do something about it. I have intercepted the ambition of a few other artists in the local community who wanted to do something about it, and we started looking into possible solutions to create the condition for spatial audio to exist. The first possibility was presented to me in 2022 when I was hired as a research assistant at CTU in Hong Kong to participate to a project called the Open Ambisonics Toolkit, which evaluated solutions for DIY and open source implementations of ambisonics. So we explored and evaluated ways to run ambisonic encoders and decoders on Raspberry Pi, built a system using spare parts for cars, like car audio systems, which they were like very easily available at street markets in Hong Kong, so that was the reason why we went for that. And our goal was mainly to use the system creation as a pedagogical input. So we build the system with the student, and this informs them about the technology. That project is documented on Organized Sound, and I mean, those are a few steps of some of the workshops we did, where we basically like make the loudspeakers and get a Raspberry Pi to work, and then play pieces on these systems. I mean, in the end, of course, it's not a professional system. It has its own limitations, but it's something that anyone can do at home, really much. After the project, I came across the work of the Austrian team Autosonics, which used 3D printing to produce inexpensive loudspeakers for spatial audio. We decided not to use 3D printing in this project, mainly because we thought it was yet another gatekeeping element. But this is highly debatable. At the beginning, I thought I was going to replicate the Autosonic system in Napoli, but then this was until I met Davide Colano, who's this guy here, who prompted me to explore different solutions. Davide is the co-author of the paper in the proceedings, and which I mean will be published, and is an architect with a specific interest in sound and acoustics. He has participated in projects to design and build wooden structure for acoustic reinforcement for outdoor concerts, and he's been designing 3D printed loudspeakers. His idea was, instead of just replicating that system, why don't we test something else before and see what we can make that will respond to our needs in a better way. I mean, once you can tailor it, you can pretty much make your own. Especially Davide had been experimenting with alternative loudspeaker designs, both cabinets with like regular bass reflex cabinets and quarter wavelength transmission line enclosures, which he found, I mean, especially this last type, he was arguing would provide a better response at low frequencies using smaller loudspeaker drivers. But we decided together what were the goals for this project, and our goals were, we wanted to make loudspeakers that met certain size and weight criteria to improve portability, make manufacturing easy and reasonable costs. Also, we wanted to build a design that could reproduce the bass frequency in the most linear way possible, of course with the limitation given by the size of the driver. and design a loudspeaker that was also easy to mount, that didn't require that many extra parts, that could be installed on a regular microphone stand, for instance, or a camera stand, and also would allow us to not have to travel with specific mounts. I mean, you can go pretty much everywhere and find microphone stands. That was a bit the idea behind that. So I won't go through the entire prototyping process because it's a bit tedious, and also because this is Davide's specialty. I don't think I have the direct competence to address all the specific details of it. But we designed prototypes using mainly two drivers. One that was the same driver used by Autosonics because it was tested, it works well, and we took it as a starting point. And also we tried to build loudspeakers using a smaller driver to see if we could make loudspeakers even more compact. Also we built different types of cabinets, both regular bass reflex cabinets and QWTL. Now it comes, the fun part is, how do you test all of this? Like, as doing like grassroots projects and not having access to an anechoic chamber, how do you do that? And we decided that we were going to do it in a different way. We relied on perceptual tests and simulations run with a software called HornResp. We installed loudspeakers in what could have been a real-world environment for our speakers to be. So we used the same theater I showed you earlier, and we used as a reference for the tests the spatial audio quality inventory, which is a very thorough test developed by Alexander Lindau at TU in Berlin. Basically, this test is interesting because it has both, it provides a template for evaluating spatial qualities of loudspeakers in arrays, but also as individual loudspeakers, and also focuses on the spatial qualities, but also the timbral and the frequency response as they are perceived. So you gather a bunch of listeners and you go through certain materials and you evaluate them. We conducted the test informally inviting guests from the Napoli Totale Elettronica collective and listening to various sound materials, known electroacoustic music pieces, popular music of different genres, field recordings, speech, and we did the same through a selection of loudspeakers, switching in between them in real time with a max patch. We also included in the test a Tivoli radio because we thought it's inexpensive, it's quite well regarded, and I mean, we could have included a Genelec, but it would have defeated the purpose because it's much more expensive, and of course it's the best possible solution to go for. So we decided to not include that type of reference because we cannot compare it to, we cannot compare our work to that. So the system was presented after we chose which loudspeaker to use. The system was presented at the Conservatoire in Napoli with an open lecture and a listening session, and we covered all topics like from rigging up the loudspeaker and calibrating distance and gain, because this is usually something that for people that want to put up concerts everywhere, it's really important to master. And later on, the system was used publicly for the first time at the Marginale Festival, which is probably, I think, the first electroacoustic music festival in the region that features spatial audio. And I also think like this workshop was probably the first time ambisonics came to the Conservatoire in Napoli ever. So this is some kind of an achievement. And I just want to conclude actually, talking about what the criticalities and the future plans for this project are. First of all, we are aware that we can still do a lot, and we will do a lot, but we can already be happy with this kind of result in our small scale. And we're happy that we added another possibility to the expressivity of an artist community. But we know the system is currently too small to be used effectively at a public event. Especially given the surprising level of attendance that electroacoustic music draws in Napoli when the whole community is involved. It's impressive. Ideally, we would like to scale up the system to 24 loudspeakers and design a solution to have a full dome setup, including elevation. This is not currently implemented yet. Also, we decided to make the system available for free to the members of the collective, but I've noticed that despite all of this, the system is still not used to its potential, and this is probably because we are lacking of a studio or a space for experimentation, somewhere where people can go and try out things. Now it's mainly used for display, but we need a space for composition, really. And of course, there is also a problem of funds. Like it's difficult to secure funding, but lately the collective has also become an NGO, so probably this can open up different solutions. We're still working on that. It's a recent change of status, so we'll see what the future brings. Of course, we will have to strengthen our relationship to the local institutions as well. Just my last point, I'll share a quick anecdote. I once received the feedback from a peer reviewer on an article I wrote about a similar topic, and it was written that if one accounts for the work hours required for a project like this, then it's probably cheaper to buy Genelex. And while this is probably true, time and money may have different value for different people with different social and cultural backgrounds, where allocating a few more hours of work to a project feels way more affordable than allocating more funds. Yeah. So, can a system like this substitute the need for high-end facilities, or should it? Absolutely not. But we try to achieve the contrary. We want to increase the need for it. Our goal with the existence of a system like this is to create demand. It's to push the institution to step up their game, is to encourage cultural and financial investment locally. When I first thought of designing this, my main goal was to have basic tools to run some basic pedagogical activities. Now I see it as creating a precedent. But of course, the role of the local institution is to consolidate this potential and to make this something stable that people can use, and perhaps to scale it up to something that has a completely different scale, purpose, and level of professionality. Thank you very much.